Hi everyone, Anthony Mazzola, and today we're smoking the 2015 Cigar of the Year, My Father, Le Bijou, Box Press Torpedo. With Torpedo or shaped cigars, I prefer a V-cut. And the reason why is because it maintains the integrity of the shape. So this is one of the hardest shapes in the factory to roll and to make. And I feel that if you use a straight guillotine cut, which I traditionally use on a straight cigar, that you kind of take out the integrity of the shape, meaning that you cut it down to just a Toro, which is nothing wrong with it. So my preference for a Torpedo top is going to be a V-cut every time. Okay, so the makeup of the cigar: Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Nicaraguan filler, Nicaraguan binder. Based upon the darkness of the wrapper and the texture, I would say it's from a higher priming. And Cigar Aficionado received a rating of 97, which is an extremely high rating, very rare air when it comes to a rating system. Just some of the history of the brand. You know, Le Bijou means the jewel in French. And the 1922 is an homage to Pepin Garcia's father's year of birth. Just to give you a little history into Pepin himself, he spent 30 years in the cigar industry in Cuba, where he was revered as, master roller, master blender, and the teacher of teachers. Pepin himself, when he was in Cuba, worked at helped blending Partagas, Monte Cristo, Cohiba, some iconic brands that came out of Cuba. I mean, he worked in the 90s at the head of quality assurance in the Cohiba factory. Well, obviously, a brand that's recognized worldwide as the best of the best to come out of Cuba. Pepin's lineage and Jaime's lineage and the whole Garcia family's lineage speaks to having success in the cigar industry. So the tasting notes I get from the cigar are very intense flavors, right from the jump start. Some cigars build into that intensity. This cigar kind of starts off with it. And not that it's overly aggressive, but it's big. I get dark, rich, strong coffee notes from it. It's not a medium roast, it's not a light roast, it's a really nice dark roast coffee, deep, rich flavors. I get like deep leather. So when sometimes people say I get leather notes from the cigar, this is like really intensified leather notes. But the balance and the nuance you also get in the retrohale and also on the finish, kind of like raisin-y quality, kind of a raisin reduction, if you will, like a very intense note to it. That's not overly sweet, but it's just big and rich. But to have a cigar that's bold, which this cigar is, but also nuanced, is very difficult to obtain. So it's truly a work of art. This is definitely for more of a seasoned smoker. Again, you don't have to be smoking for 20 years to enjoy it, but I just want to recommend smoking this 8 o'clock on the golf course with your buddies and you're used to smoking a mild cigar. This cigar is definitely will get your attention. And kind of the theme of today with our pairing is kind of like go big or go home. So we went big today. We went big with our cigar, and we went big with our spirit today. So today we chose Old Forester 1920. So a nice big, but again, nuanced bourbon. 115 proof. So let's see what it has. And again, because it's a big whiskey, this is meant to be savored and consumed slowly. The reason why we chose it, because it really marries well. You have flavors of burnt, like caramelized brown sugar, charred barrel, and also you get a sweet note on the finish. This is kind of like your last dram of the night, your last cigar of the night, to kind of end a perfect meal or a perfect day. All right, so at this point now, we're down to the secondary band. I'm almost burning it, and it really settled into a really flavorful smoke without any harshness to it. But that kind of big leather flavor and coffee notes are still there, but there was a little pepper in the beginning. They've subsided, which is actually a nice, pleasant thing because the cigar changes as you smoke it. This is the My Father Le Bijou Box Press Torpedo by My Father Cigars.